Welcome into the Toronto Sports Rush right here on the Bet Rivers Network. It is the Leafs post-game report and EJ Hradek with Pierre McGuire, and it is not a happy post-game report. The Leafs had a 2-0 lead in this game. They blow the lead late, lose in overtime, and they also, the headline for me, Pierre, is they lose Oliver Ekman-Larsson. OEL goes down with a looked like an ankle or left leg injury in the third period, did not return, had to be helped off. They've already got Tanev and Carlo on the sidelines. Not good news.
No, not good news at all. And it's a great pickup by you, AJ. The other part is when you look at the hit that actually happened to Oliver Ekman-Larsson, it's almost like it's not on purpose by Gaudette at all. In fact, Adam Gaudette looks like he got the worst of the hit. And then all of a sudden you see OEL's not getting up, and there's a problem. I got to say this, though. You know, you talked about the other two guys on the right side that didn't play, and Tanev hasn't been there for a while, and Carlo hasn't been there for a while. I thought Henry Thrun played a really strong game for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight, coming up from the American Hockey League and playing, I thought, really solid hockey. They're in trouble if this is a long-term injury for Oliver Ekman-Larsson because they just don't have enough. And you people, no disrespect meant to Philip Myers, they're going to have to do something proactively to get better on the back end.
I mean, think of it. You know, they were so lucky that they ended up getting Troy Stecher off waivers. I mean, he has been a godsend for them since coming in from Edmonton, and he's really helped them. They're hopeful to get Tanev back at some point soon. Carlo looks like it's going to be longer, but the way OEL left the ice, Pierre, looks like he's going to be out a while. I guess we'll wait and get a further report moving forward, but you're right. It's going to be a struggle. I look into them. You know, they have Philip Myers. You go into their minor league system. They've got another veteran there they picked up from San Jose, Matt Benning. I mean, he's only played, I think, 21 games in the previous 2 seasons in the NHL. Probably not the answer. You got a John Prokop or a Cade Weber. I mean, these guys are untested kids down with the Marlies, and they've got some younger defensemen there. So I think you're right. I think, you know, if OEL is out for any length of time, they're going to have to look and see what else they can find.
You know, you're right. And the other thing that I thought was really interesting about this game, the power play finally started to get some good looks. They were moving the puck. They were crisp. They were hard on it. They were getting shots. Matthews getting the feed from Nylander to the back of the net. That was a thing of beauty. That's a beautiful power play. But you got to give credit where credit's due. Nedeljkovic, I thought, was outstanding in goal for San Jose, EJ. I thought he was really good. And to me, the other thing is how quickly San Jose closed the gap defensively. Toronto only scoring 2 goals against them. That's 3 straight times that Toronto and San Jose have played.
Yeah.
And it's 3 straight times that Toronto's lost, and it's 3 straight times they go to extra time.
Yeah.
There's something defensively that San Jose's doing that's taking the comfort level out of the game for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
You know, Pierre, it's interesting to me, and the Sharks have been way better this year. So let's give them credit. They're better than they were last year, and they're competitive on most nights. And heck, they're in the playoff chase in the Western Conference. But it does remind me when teams come in to play the Toronto Maple Leafs, there are guys that in those locker rooms around the league that grew up in the greater Ontario area. They just love to come in and play the Leafs, and I think they're just quite frankly more fired up to come in and play Toronto than they would be to go and play, you know, let's say Columbus on a Tuesday night.
It's a great point. The other thing too is how about Ryan Reeves' sound bites where Ryan Reeves says,
"Oh boy,
hey, they basically told me I couldn't even play." And could you imagine? They almost had the tying goal with him driving hard to the net. It was ruled offside. It was Adam Gaudette that actually put himself offside before he distributed the puck, but to Barclay Goodrow, who eventually scored, but it was waved off. But I got to tell you right now, that's a great point by you. I talked about it the other day. You know, for Toronto, kids come back, and they're Ontario kids, and they're ticked off the Leafs didn't take them, or maybe the Leafs took them and then punted them. I think about Tampa Bay. You know, you look at Cirelli, you look at Holmberg, you go down the line, Nicky Paul. There's so many Ontario guys on Tampa's team. It's amazing. So, no, it's all true what you just said. But here's the positive side of me on Toronto. I thought they were crisper on the power play.
Yeah,
positive. I thought they had more urgency on the forecheck. I think even though Bobby McMahon didn't play, I thought that Nylander fit in really well with Dakota Joshua. And that line was very, very good. And Nicky Roy as well. And finally, the defense moved the puck better than what I'm used to seeing. So I thought that was a positive as well.
And Hildeby I thought played very well. I mean, on the goals that I mean, the first one by Orlov, he probably wants to get that one back from the the kind of the sidewall there, but it was a good shot. I mean, these goalies, no matter if they're 7 foot tall, they all drop onto their knees and let you hit them off the side of the helmet into the net. So that happens, I guess, to all these guys. But the other two goals, I really couldn't blame him on, and he made a number of good saves in the game.
I thought his goaltending was outstanding, especially in the first period to start the game.
Yes,
That thing could have got nasty in a hurry. I
Yep.
really mean that. So I thought his goaltending was actually really sharp in the first period. My biggest concern about him is it's going to be the fatigue factor. There were 30 shots in that game tonight against him, and I'm going to say probably 17 high-end scoring opportunities for San Jose. That's a lot of movement. And so now there's some heavy schedule coming up. They're home against Edmonton. They're home against Chicago. Then they go on the road at Washington, at Nashville, at Dallas. And this is all before Christmas, before they wrap it up at home against Pittsburgh. Their schedule's tough. It's not easy. And it's a lot of games. And you got to hope for them anyways that either Joe Wool can come back or Anthony Stolarz can come back, because I don't think they can have him carry the ball the whole way.
I think you're 100% right there. I think it's probably a day-to-day proposition for Hildeby right now. The good news is he has been very good. So that's the good news. But you're right, Pierre. I don't think, more than, another week with this schedule, they're going to have to hope that they can get Wall back. I mean, it seems like Wall is the closer of the two guys. I don't even hear anything about what's going on with Stolarz. So that's been a mystery, as can be the case with injuries and the Leafs. But you're right.
No,
they're gonna need to figure that out.
They are. They're really going to have to figure it out. And the other thing too is, I know Max Domi has a lot of get up and go and a lot of spunk when he plays on the top line with Nyes and Matthews. I'm not sure that's a great fit. I know the energy level is really good, but I think they still need a higher end fit to go with Matthews and to go with Nyes. And that's no disrespect meant to Max. Max has had an amazing career, but I think he'd be more effective deeper in the lineup rather than being on the top line. I just don't know if they have many other opportunities or many other choices at this point.
Yeah, and it's another situation. I was watching that game unfold, Pierre, and I'm thinking about the Leafs, and those games against the Sharks last year, because I remember both of those games very well last year. And I was thinking, well, maybe this Leafs team, they're going to find a way to close it out, to hold on. In the end of the day, they just couldn't do it again.
No, they couldn't. Part of that's they're breaking down on defense because they're running out of numbers. Part of that is I'm watching that just like you are. Where was the urgency in overtime?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if
guys were tired.
I didn't see nearly as much urgency from the Toronto Maple Leafs as I saw from the San Jose Sharks.
Yep.
And Toronto won the initial draw. I mean, I don't know what Matthew Nyes was thinking.
They iced the puck. Yep.
That was not a good play.
Yeah. Yeah, they iced the puck in overtime, which was a bad play. Matthews ended up being out of gas on the what proved to be the game-winning goal. Quite frankly, Pierre, I thought in the last minute there, there wasn't enough urgency to lock that game down on the end. San Jose moved the puck around the outside. Joshua came out to block it. He kind of almost gave a half-hearted attempt to block the shot there. He got skinny, as they said there. Mm-hmm. And that you got to make a commitment to block that shot there. So those are the disappointing things for me. I mean, I know they're shorthanded with players and they're down to 5D and they got some inexperienced guys in there. McMahon is out with suspension, so they're moving players around. But the urgency for this team, it gets you irritated. It's got to be better, and you got to beat the Sharks on home ice. That's it. That's where we are at this point in time.
You know what's so good about what you said? Coaches love to have highlights of different things in the game that they can show to their players, whether it's positive or negative. Yep. I guarantee you, EJ, one of the things that's going to be shown is Dakota Joshua getting skinny, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And William Nylander not getting the puck out. He loses a one-on-one battle right by the blue line. Joshua loses a one-on-one battle right by the blue, and they don't get the puck out. Puck ends up at the back of the net because John Klingberg, a former Toronto Maple Leaf, who got run out of town unceremoniously, to your point again about the Ontario guys, even though he's a Swede, he got run out of town. They got a point to prove, and they want to prove it every time they come back to Toronto.
Yeah. Hey, Pierre, maybe those guys shouldn't be on the ice in that situation. I mean, maybe that's a question for Craig Berube, because Nylander, love Nylander, but is he a guy that's going to close it out? I mean, if he doesn't get the puck out, we're not surprised, right? I mean, he's an offensive wizard, but when he doesn't get the puck out in a situation, it's not shocking.
No, it's situational coaching. There's no question. I think it's a great point, and it's a very fair point. And I don't think Craig would take it personally. I think he's going to look at the tape too and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
I got to think about maybe I don't do this."
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? When they won the Cup in St. Louis in 2019, I'll never forget this. Oscar Sundqvist, Ivan Barbashev, Alexander Steen.
Yep.
That was their quote unquote identity line. That was their fourth line. He never numbered them as a fourth line. They started every period. They basically started every game. And when the game was on the line, maybe Ryan O'Reilly got a little bit of time. Maybe Braden Shen got a little bit of time. But those guys got all the time.
Yeah.
They got all the time.
And, they were making a lot on the broadcast side about Nylander being moved down to the third line. I think it's simply because McMahon was suspended. Like, if McMahon's not suspended for this game tonight, Pierre, he's not breaking up that trio. So to me, it was just he was trying something because he was short a player and he was trying to stretch out his offense maybe a little bit.
It's that point we just talked about before. It's situational coaching. You're so spot on. You couldn't be more correct, DJ. The truth is, if Bobby McMahon's not suspended for one game, William Nylander's not playing on that line. They're keeping that line together.
Yeah.
So I agree with you 100%.
All right, Pierre, one more thing before I let you go here. Macklin Celebrini coming into town tonight. Obviously, we're coming down to the wire for Team Canada with the Olympics just around the corner. Everybody's a lot of scrutiny about who's going to be on the team. It's actually driving me a little crazy by this point. I mean, let's name this team already, for crying out loud, on both Team USA and Team Canada. What did you make of Celebrini tonight? And, I have him on the team. If I was picking the team, he'd be on the team. What are your thoughts?
I have him on the team as well. I thought he was very good tonight again. It's everything. It's the way he plays defense. It's the way he plays offense, the way he makes the players around him better. It's the composure that he has with the puck on his stick in confined areas. And EJ, you know a lot of people at Hockey Canada, and I know you know the management people very well. They learned a valuable lesson in 2006 when they didn't take Sidney Crosby to Torino and they didn't medal in Torino. Yeah. They never did that again. Go look at the roster in 2010, especially a 20-year-old by the name of Drew Doughty. Yeah. Go look at the roster in 2014. Hockey Canada, when it was best on best, they never made that mistake again. They made sure they had what the late Branch Rickey called youthful enthusiasm.
How about Bedard and Schaefer? Any chance for those guys in your mind?
I think Schaefer has a legitimate chance. The more I decipher the defensive component to the team, I could see where he might have a chance to be on the team. I don't know if Connor Bedard can be on that team or not. That's going to be one of those where the coach says, yeah, I'll take him and I'm going to play him up in the lineup. He cannot play deep in the lineup. That's just not his thing. It's just not his thing. It's to what you were talking about before. He's not a guy that's going to help you close out a game. Yeah. He might be a guy that's going to help you start a game, but he's not going to help you close it out.
Yeah, and, just another note, Braden Point, who has really struggled to start the season, and he's missed time. He's back. He scored again tonight. So he's got goals in each of his last two games. So maybe he's getting going. He is already on the team, and that's the area where I thought if he continued to struggle, maybe you take Bedard and you can put him in that role and you'd have both guys. Because, again, Point is already named. So he's not going anywhere.
I think you would agree. Tommy Wilson's probably going to be on this team.
I would have had him on the Four Nations, Pierre.
Yeah, so we agree. So it comes down to, who do you want? Do you want Nick Suzuki, who can play winger, center, and win faceoffs and kill penalties? Do you want Mark Scheifele, who can take faceoffs, be in your power play, and help defend the lead? And that's where it's going to be a problem. And I think one of the problems for Connor right now, he's not overly large. And I know you've done great reporting on this. The rink's not very large either.
Yeah, well, it's not too much smaller, but it'll be interesting to see who they pick. And the last thing, Pierre, with Schaefer, wouldn't it be something if they took Schaefer and maybe him and Drew Doughty as like a fourth pair that could work in? I mean, I would love to see Doughty and Schaefer play together, even if it's for a short period of time. I just think that's Drew Doughty was kind of Matthew Schaefer when he came in the league at 18 years of age.
There's a great piece of tape when I was doing the game with Chris Cuthbert, the golden goal by Crosby in 2010. Drew Doughty's 20 years old. He's sitting on the bench in the third period during a TV timeout. And I call the truck. I'm working between the benches. And I say to our producer at the time, Sam Flood, along with Matt Marvin, you got to get a picture of Drew Doughty right now and run right out of the break. Drew Doughty is singing the song that's playing in-house, and he's dancing on the bench. And all the guys, whether it's Niedermeyer, Pronger, all the Boyle, they're all looking at him like he's got 5 heads. And he's calm and cool and collected. And obviously, he was a key component on that 2010 team. But there's that youthful enthusiasm that Matthew Schaefer would bring. And one other point on that, I love the fact you brought up Drew Doughty. If you ever ask Kenny Holland, what's one part of our season that really hurt us in LA this year? I guarantee you he would say Drew Doughty's injury.
Yeah.
We are a totally different team when we have Drew Doughty.
Yeah, no question. He's a special player. He's a 2-time Cup winner, Olympic winner of just about everything he's ever done in hockey, and certainly a first ballot Hall of Famer whenever that time comes. Last note too on the Olympics, Bo Horvat, who is a candidate for Team Canada, he got hurt tonight for the Islanders, so we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But from Toronto, OEL hurt in the game. We'll see where things end up there. Hopefully it's not going to be too bad. Leafs blow a lead, lose in overtime to the San Jose Sharks, and now they get ready for Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers coming up on Saturday. Pierre, thanks for the time, my friend.
Awesome visiting with you, EJ. Thanks a lot. Look forward to the next time.
All right, you've been watching the Toronto Sports Rush right here on the Bet Rivers Network. Good night, everyone.